Hey, welcome back. We are going to be looking at property subtraction in this video. So let's start with a question and an example that's going to help us find out what this property actually is. So here's a question. Lily reads a book with 120 pages in total. On the first day she reads 40 pages and on the second day she reads 60 pages. How many pages are left to read in this book? Try to calculate this in two different ways, and then I'm going to go through some examples with you. Pause the video and have a go. Try to write this in two different ways. Okay, I hope you've had a go with this. Let's have a look. Now, I suspect one of the ways you would have done it is 120 minus 40 minus 60. And that's fine. That would have given us the answer. The other way, I hope you spotted, is by using brackets, and it's quite a nice way to do it. So you still start with the same number of pages, but because you know you're going to subtract 40 and 60, you can put it in brackets and add them up first. So 40 plus 60. So 120 take away 40 plus 60. Now I think you'd agree that's going to give you a nice number. 40 and 60 is a nice number, which is 100. So 120 take away 100, which is going to give you 20. Now, if you do it this way, it's not necessarily massively harder. It's just a different way to do it. 120 take away 40, and then you take away 60 from that. So 120 take away 40 is 80 minus 60, and then that's going to give you 20 as well. So you still get the same answer, but I think you would agree that this nifty little shortcut is quite useful, and this is actually the property of subtraction. So when you're subtracting numbers, these three numbers like this, we can actually turn it into this representation here. So here's a question for you to practice this. So let's say Lily and her dad go shopping to the supermarket. They give £50 to the cashier. How much change will the cashier give to them if this is how much they've spent? Pause the video and have a go and try to write this as a normal subtraction and then using the property of subtraction that we just looked at. Okay, I hope you've tried it now, and let's go through it. So the first way we can do it is just 50 take away, and we can choose who to subtract first. Let's just do 15 take away 25, and then we're going to get an answer from here. I'm not going to work that out just yet. The second way to do it, which I think is going to be a bit nicer, is 50 take away brackets 15 plus 25. So I think you'll see this is a bit nicer to work out. 50 take away, now 15 and 25 is going to give you 40. 50 minus 40 is 10. Now if you did it this way, I hope you did it both ways. 50 take away 40 is 35. 35 take away 25 is 10. The numbers are very slightly more awkward, not necessarily hard, not impossible to do, but I think again you'll see the value of the property of subtraction here. Okay, what's the same and what's different between both of these? Take a moment to look at this, and then I'm going to show you the generalization. So I hope you've spotted what's the same. Well, the numbers don't change at the beginning in the question. The thing that's different is we've got subtraction here, and here we've got an addition with brackets. And it's primarily the main difference. The other thing that's the same, well, the answer is the same. The thing that's different is this middle bit of the calculation. So let's write down the property of subtraction in your books. So this is what the property of subtraction looks like. A minus B minus C is equivalent to A take away B plus C. So if we read this out, it would look a bit like this. When two numbers B and C are subtracted from A, it's equivalent to finding the sum of B and C and then taking that away. So you don't need to copy the text, you just need to copy the generalization in the box. Pause the video if you need time to do that, I'm going to move on to some independent work. Could you please fill in the blanks for all of these? The property of subtraction is at the top just for your reference. It should take you about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. Okay, I hope you tried this out. So let's look at the answers. Please mark your work if you've done this in your book. Okay, so let's look at a true or false exercise now. Okay, decide whether this is true or false. Does the property of subtraction work? You don't have to work out the answers, you're just saying, does this represent the property of subtraction for A? Okay, so I'm going to tell you, in this case, we can see there's something wrong. This is false because that should be a plus. Question B, does this show the property of subtraction? So again, in this case, we can say this is false because that should be a subtraction sign here. The rest of it becomes correct if we change that to a subtraction. For question C, do you think this is true or false? Okay, so we can see this is 62 minus 38 minus 15. This should be 62. Yeah, this is going to be true. Question D, what do we think? True or false? This is false because that should be a subtraction sign. So we need to be careful with that. So this is false. Question E, true or false? Take a moment, pause the video if you need more time. I can tell you that this is just in the wrong order, doesn't work. So we're not subtracting 634 from these numbers. The subtraction is not commutative, so we can't just swap those around here. And then for F, decide whether this is true or false. Okay, so I can tell you that F is true. Okay, because we're going to take the sum of these two away, so it's the same as taking away these two individually. Okay. Now try these questions in your book, pause the video, work these out, and then I'm going to show you some answers coming up on the next slide. Here come the answers, fully worked out for you to look at and mark your work. Okay, I hope that was useful. So that was a whole lesson on property of subtraction, quite a lot of work involved with that, but it's a really straightforward rule. Hopefully you can use this to save yourself some effort in the future. Hit subscribe, smash the like button.